Okay. Hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to this webinar on semester study abroad opportunities at Roehampton. Whether you're joining us live or if you're watching this recording back at a later date, we really appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit about our study abroad opportunities at Roehampton. I'm going to speak for maybe about 15 or 20 minutes, just providing a bit of an overview about the programme at Roehampton, and then I will take some time for questions at the end. You should hopefully be able to see along the top of your Teams window, among the various tools, you should hopefully be able to see a Q&A function where you can put any questions that you might have. If you can try and put those questions in the Q&A box rather than the chat, as it would just make it a little bit easier for us to keep track of them, then that would be great. And we'll go through some of those questions at the end and hopefully shed some light on any particular areas that you might like to learn more about. Quick way of introduction, my name is Nat. I am the Roehampton Abroad Officer here at our campus in London. I help manage our incoming study abroad programmes along with my colleague Sophie, who's also in on the call today. We provide ongoing support to students throughout every stage of the study abroad process, from application all the way to completion of the programme. So you can always feel free, whether you're a staff member at one of our partner institutions, or if you're a student yourself or a parent or relative of a student, you can always feel free to reach out to our team at any point. You can see our email address down the bottom below with any further questions about the programme. So I'll start off with just a few facts about Roehampton as an institution. So many of you may already know a bit about us. We're a university based in southwest London. We're a campus university, the only traditional campus university of its kind in the city. We're based on a beautiful 54-acre parkland campus, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. And that campus is home to an undergraduate population of about 7,500 students. Of that group, about 51% of our students identify as students of colour, and over 70% identify as females, who are a hugely diverse institution. One of our 4 colleges, Whitelands College, was actually the first higher education institution in the UK to admit women when it first opened in 1841. So we do have a very long history of diversity and inclusion within the university that's still very much represented in the makeup of our student body today. Within the campus community as well, we have a number of groups and institutions and organisations that play a really key role. I've already mentioned our 4 colleges, which all students are a member of. We also have a students' union on campus with elected student officers who act as representation and a voice for all students on campus. And they also help organise over 50 student-led clubs and societies which study abroad students can join and get involved with during their time on campus. And then beyond campus as well, we also have the benefit of just being 30 minutes from the heart of central London with really excellent public transport links. So we're really fantastically placed, even if you're just spending a single semester with us. It's a really great base from which to explore the city, the wider UK, and also Europe as well. Okay, so to revisit our campus very briefly, so as I said, our campus, we're a traditional campus university, so all teaching and teaching spaces and housing are all centred on our main campus, where students will live and learn in the same place. A lot of London universities, you might find that you might have your accommodation in one part of the city, but where you have your classes might be 30 minutes, maybe up to an hour away. So it's really a kind of rare benefit among universities in London to actually live and learn all in the same place. The campus itself is a really beautiful environment. an incredibly green space with kind of really wide variety of environments and atmospheres for students to enjoy. It's a very kind of relaxing and peaceful setting, and a really great place to first arrive in the UK. We know many students, it might be your first time living abroad, maybe your first time even traveling outside of your home country, out of your home state even. So having this very secure, very welcoming and very peaceful environment for students to first arrive in is a really great way to kind of get acclimatized, get settled in a friendly environment where people are looking out for you and providing you with all the support that you need to first get your bearings. Is really beneficial, and then once students are able, have had a bit of time to get settled in, get over the jet lag, they're kind of in a really good position to start exploring the city from then on. And within campus as well, we also have a range of accommodation blocks where students will be living. We guarantee on-campus accommodation to all of our study abroad students. So when you complete your application, you'll have an option to select whether you would like us to reserve a room on campus for you. And so long as you answer, yes, please, I would like a room, then we can make sure that's secured for you ahead of your arrival. A little bit about the accommodation and how it's set up. All our rooms on campus are single occupancy, so you don't need to worry about a roommate that you might not get on with. Your bedroom is entirely your own. And then you'll usually be placed in a flat, usually with about another 6 students. And for the most part, if you're in our standard accommodation, you will share bathroom and kitchen facilities with your other flatmates. However, we do have options for ensuite and premium accommodation. Those come at a slightly higher price point. Ensuite accommodation is more or less the same as standard accommodation, but you just have a private bathroom adjoining your bedroom. Premium options are a little bit more upscale. You'll usually have a double bed as well as an ensuite bathroom as well. So both of those options do come at a slightly higher cost, but we will go through the process where if you do apply to Roehampton, we'll let you know how you can request those options if you would like, if you're happy to pay a little bit more money and you'd like to go for one of those housing options. For the most part, though, our study abroad students are usually placed in standard accommodation. You can get a bit of a sense from these pictures, hopefully, in terms of the layout and structure of the accommodation. The kitchen facilities are really well equipped, so you'll be able to, if you're so inclined, you'll be able to do pretty much all your food preparation inside your accommodation. However, we do also have a meal plan on offer that students can sign up to. We have a few different food outlets on campus, from cafeterias that serve hot meals for 3 meals a day. We also have cafes that serve sandwiches and snacks and that sort of thing. So if you would like to, you might be accustomed to having a board plan at your home institution, and you might like a similar structure while you're at Roehampton, in which case you can absolutely sign up for one of our meal plans, which will give you a certain amount of credit. We have 3 tiers for the meal plan, depending on how much you think you'll use it, and you can spend that credit however much you wish throughout the semester. If you're on the meal plan, that also gets you a 10% discount on hot drinks around campus as well, so that's a nice bonus. But as I said, though, the meal plan is not obligatory in the way it might be at your home institution, so it's entirely optional if you'd like to go for the meal plan. You can also buy meals from any of the outlets on campus as a one-off with cash or card, even if you're not on the meal plan, and the rest of the time you can cook meals in your accommodation. Okay, so a little bit more now about life on campus in general. I talked already about this to some extent, but when you join us on campus, you'll become a member of one of our 4 colleges. Now, these colleges are historical institutions. They actually predate the university. These 4 colleges have come together to form what is now the University of Roehampton. And all students will be based in a college depending on where they're living on campus. Now, what does membership of a college entail? All students are Roehampton students. They're a member of one Roehampton community. There's in no way any kind of separation or segregation between the colleges at all. The different groups of students will absolutely mingle together throughout your time on campus. However, colleges also provide almost little micro communities on top of that, or within that rather. Ways that might be expressed is, particular social activities or cultural activities organised within the college. Each college also has a well-being officer that looks after welfare and kind of pastoral care duties within the college. We also have a multi-faith chaplaincy team operating out of each of the 4 colleges, who provide all kinds of support and community work to students of all faiths or none at all. So those are some really excellent resources that you can draw upon. The colleges also have sports teams as well. And there are some friendly rivalries between some of them on that basis as well. As well as the colleges, you'll also become a member of the Students' Union. The Students' Union, as I've already mentioned, is an organisation that's run by elected officers on campus. We have a Student Union president. Our current serving president is a student called Harrison, who's got involved very closely with study abroad activities on campus as well. If you are coming to join us in the spring, you'll most likely meet him in your first week here. He'll be running a traditional pub quiz out of our student union on your 2nd or 3rd night in London to help you get acquainted and familiarised with each other. The Students' Union also supports all of our clubs and societies on campus. These are based on all sorts of things, from kind of hobbies and interests. You might have a chess society or a dance society. They might also be based on kind of cultural or religious backgrounds. We have subject-based societies as well for extracurricular societies. All sorts of things. If there's a hobby and interest or something that you'd like to pursue further and might make quite a big part of your free time at Roehampton, there's a good chance there might already be a society for it. And then lastly, we also have sport and gym facilities on campus as well. Our gym offers really favourable rates for students, much cheaper than a regular gym. And then we also have playing fields, basketball courts, tennis and netball courts as well. And we have a number of sports clubs on campus, over 20, I believe, that offer opportunities to play sport from a kind of casual beginner level all the way up to competitive sport as well. So that's absolutely something you can pursue while at Roehampton. And then moving out from campus a little bit, I'll just talk about where we're based in terms of our local area. The campus is in quite a residential part of London. It's quite a quiet and peaceful and very safe area. But we also have great connections to some slightly busier neighbourhoods around the local area in southwest London. Places like Putney and Richmond are really excellent places for kind of wider range of shops and things to do. We're also connected to places like Clapham and Wimbledon, which are really big hubs of activity with lots going on. And as you kind of get a sense from some of the pictures I put up here as well, we're in one of the greenest areas in all of London. We're right next to Richmond Park, which is the largest public park in London. It's about 3 times the size of Central Park in New York, for a sense of scale, if that means anything to you. Some of the other images we've got are Wimbledon Common and Clapham Common as well, which are both really nice parks and great places to explore and spend some time outdoors. I've mentioned already a little bit that we do have some excellent transport links. We have a number of buses that leave from right outside campus and connect you to some of these local areas. We also have a train station, which is Barnes Station, which is about a 10-minute walk from campus or a few minutes on the bus. And that will get you connected to all the way into central London by train. We also have a free bus service operating in the local area around campus. So that goes from Barnes Station all the way up to Wimbledon and passing campus along the way. That service is completely free for students. All you have to do is show your Roehampton ID card and you can board for free. Okay, so while you're on campus, we obviously understand that studying abroad and moving to a new country is an exciting but also a little bit daunting experience as well. And we want to make sure that you have all the support available to you that you need. Now, first of all, your first port of call for a lot of queries throughout the process will be the Roehampton Abroad team. We operate as a kind of friendly face throughout your time, from the moment you start your application to when you're getting ready to arrive at Roehampton, and then once you're here, you can always continue to reach out for us if there's anything you're not sure about or anything you'd like advice on, or maybe you're just not sure which service at the university you need to contact, and we can point you in the right direction. And then once you've left as well, we do always encourage students to stay in contact. We're always happy to provide support for things like getting your grades transferred. If you're looking to apply for grad school and need some support with documenting evidence for your application, please do stay in touch. We really like to hear from students as well about how their experiences kind of at Roehampton has kind of shaped them moving onwards. That's always really great feedback for us to have. But beyond the Roehampton Abroad team, you'll also have access to all the same support services that any other student would at the university. I've talked a bit about our wellbeing officers who are based in each of the 4 colleges. They can provide support on any number of welfare issues while you're on campus, whether it's maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with workload, or you're maybe finding the transition to a new academic system a bit difficult. Maybe you're feeling homesick, maybe you're feeling a bit of a sense of culture shock. These are all really normal things that most students experience at some point during their time abroad, and the wellbeing team are really happy and open to discussing those issues with you and making sure you're supported to work through any challenges and make the most of your time in London. They run a daily drop-in service that you can show up to in person or just give them a call, and they're really approachable and friendly service on campus. They can also refer students to our disabilities team, which can provide support to students with any kind of disability or long-term health condition that might require some adjustments or accommodations that would allow you to participate fully in life at Roehampton, whether that's adjustments to your classes or to your housing. You can actually declare a disability with us during your application, which means we can have all support necessary in place before you arrive on campus. And I talked also about our chaplaincy team. They're a multi-faith service and a really friendly and approachable source of pastoral care. And also they put a lot of kind of fun social and community events, which are a really great way to meet other students. Our security team on campus operates a 24-hour service, so they're always available on campus, whether it's the middle of the night or the weekend, for anything from whether maybe you're locked out of your accommodation, or whether it's a flatmate is playing noise a bit too loud, or if you do have any kind of safety concern or medical issue that needs attention, you can always contact the security team any hour of the day or night to provide assistance. We also have a health centre on campus that you can register with when you arrive, and that will act as your local doctor's office while you're here. We do recommend, so for the majority of you, you'll be coming for a period of less than 6 months, which means you'll be on a standard visitor visa. That means that you'll need to take out medical insurance to cover any healthcare costs for while you're in the UK. We're very happy for you to reach out to us if you've got questions about exactly how that process works. Do also speak to your home institution as well, because they may well have recommendations, or it may well even have requirements in terms of the health insurance policy that you would need to be registered with while you're abroad. Okay, so I'll move on now to talk about your academic experience at Roehampton. So we've got a list here of a fairly comprehensive list of the range of subjects that we have on offer at Roehampton. You'll be, for the most part, you'll, in terms of your academic experience, just as with your living experience on campus, you'll be fully integrated with the rest of our student population. You'll be learning alongside UK and other international students in your classes. And study abroad students are able to select classes from any combination of these subject areas. You're not attached to a particular degree program at Roehampton, so that means you're not restricted at all in terms of taking classes from one particular subject area. If you'd like to take classes from multiple different areas, that's absolutely fine. So you might have some classes for your major that you might need to meet, but you might also have some general education requirements as well from different subject areas. So you can absolutely fulfill all those requirements at Roehampton. We try to make these classes as accessible as possible. For some of our upper level classes, for third year students, we might take a look at your transcript to check that you have an appropriate level of experience within a particular subject. But otherwise, we do encourage you to select from as wide a range of subjects as possible. Our study abroad catalogue provides a full list of the classes that we have on offer this academic year. I'll be showing a link to our web page towards the end of this presentation, which also includes information about how you can look at the study abroad catalogue. During your application, you will submit a list of 8 classes that you might like to take at Roehampton, and then ahead of your arrival in London, we will allocate you 60 UK credits, which usually works out to about 3 classes during the course of the semester. You can also make adjustments to your classes if you change your mind about which ones you might like to take ahead of your arrival. And we also have a 2-week add drop period so that you can make sure you have all your necessary requirements in place for the semester to make sure that your credits will transfer properly. We do really recommend starting conversations with your home institution as early as possible about what classes you might like to take. As much as possible, we recommend that you try and arrive at Roehampton with all your approvals in place so that you know which classes your home institution will accept for credit transfer when you return home. So I've said already that for the most part, your classes, you'll find that you'll be sitting those classes alongside other UK students. However, we do have a small number of classes that have been designed specifically for study abroad students, and these are our London Studies classes. And I've got a list on screen now of all the classes that we have on offer this academic year under the banner of London Studies. And essentially how these classes work is, as the name implies, they all involve some kind of focus on a particular element of the history, culture, politics, social makeup of the City of London. And all of these classes incorporate some kind of immersive element to complement your in-class activities. So alongside time that you spend in class for these classes, you'll also spend time on field trips out in the city, exploring areas that are relevant to the topics you're studying in class. So you're really sort of contextualizing what you learn in class in terms of the actual real environment of the city. So you might see some examples on screen now of students visiting the British Museum as part of our London History, Art and Society course. You can also see students at the Globe Theatre, which is forms part of both our Introduction to the London Stage and our Shakespeare in London modules. Both include visits to the Globe, as well as a number of other theatres around London. And then we also have a lot of other subject areas represented within that list of classes. Hidden London, for example, is a creative writing course, which will involve a lot of walking tours around neighbourhoods in London. that you'll actually use for prompts for your own creative writing projects, and also learning about texts that have been written about or written in the context of authors who've spent time in those particular neighbourhoods as well. So it's a really fascinating way to explore London, which is obviously something that you'll be doing in a kind of social and cultural context, but this allows you to do it in academic context as well as doing it as part of a group of students who are also discovering the city in a new way for the first time as well. So it's a really fantastic thing. I would really encourage a lot of students to consider including at least one of our London Studies classes in your list of preferences for the classes you'd like to take with us. And then on a similar note as well, obviously for many of you, the appeal of Roehampton will be London itself. There's so much to talk about in terms of the city, too much even, I'd say, because the great thing about London is you obviously have the kind of iconic landmarks in the centre of the city in Westminster and the historic city of London, your Big Ben, your Buckingham Palace, your Houses of Parliament. All of these places are absolutely worth visiting. They're great. However, I'd say what the real strength of London is its diversity in terms of the different neighbourhoods that you'll find dotted all about the city, that each have their own hubs of activity for you to explore. You can see where that little R is, quite big R actually. That's where you'll find Roehampton in the context of the rest of the city, as I said before, in southwest London. Next to us, as I mentioned already, is this big green space that's Richmond Park. I myself am from South London originally, so I am a bit of a zealot when it comes to promoting South London as the best side of the river to be on. You've got loads of really fantastic neighbourhoods to explore. Brixton is quite a popular and trendy neighbourhood that you might have encountered before. Tooting is actually quite famous in London for having one of the largest South Asian populations in the city. It's got a really fantastic food scene. Moving up through kind of more northern parts of the city, areas like Hampstead have some amazing parks to explore. Out to the east in places like Greenwich and Stratford, you've got the kind of historic Docklands areas, which have been regenerated in recent years. Stratford is also where you'll find the Olympic Park, where the 2012 Olympics were hosted. So hopefully that map gives you a bit of a sense of just how much ground you've got to cover while you're in London. You absolutely won't see everything, but you'll see loads. And I'm always astonished by how much students are able to cram into a single semester. And they make me feel quite bad about the fact that I've lived in the city my whole life. And they've apparently been able to cover so much more ground than I have in a lot of ways in terms of all the places that they've explored. So this is, yeah, it's obviously, it will be a huge part of your study abroad experience. London will be your home for the time that you're here, and it's a fantastic place to be as a study abroad student. And with that in mind, we've tried to put together a few opportunities to facilitate you guys exploring the city and the wider UK as well. And that's something we've done through our social programme. And this is a package of 5 excursions that will take you to areas within London, but also beyond as well. So on your screen now, you'll see our students visiting the White Cliffs of Dover on the south coast of England, and also Brighton as well. You'll do all of these trips with a qualified guide who will accompany you, as well as our Roehampton Abroad resident assistant, who is a Roehampton student, who will act as a kind of additional layer of support for you, particularly if you've got any queries that you might feel more comfortable asking a fellow student about. But the resident assistant will also always accompany you on the social programme trips. So it's a really great way to explore the UK along with other study abroad students. You can sign up to the programme on our online store. For some of you, though, it may already be included in the programme fee that you pay to your home institution. So make sure to ask your study abroad advisor if that applies to you. And the cost of the program, as well as the cost of a qualified guide, it also includes tickets to any attractions you'll visit. So that might include a trip to a West End theatre, or entry into a landmark like the Tower of London or the Castle of Windsor. And it will also include the cost of transport to any areas outside of London as well. So you'll travel by either coach or train to any areas outside of the city. It also includes accommodation costs because the social programme always includes at least one overnight trip in either Wales or York in the north of England as well. Okay, so I'm coming to the end now. So I put a little things up, kind of almost prompts, I guess. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but this is maybe some of the reasons that Roehampton might be the place for you. If you're looking for a community environment that's welcoming and inclusive, if you're also looking for a community that's diverse and really values inclusion and will give you an opportunity to encounter people from all sorts of different backgrounds with all sorts of different perspectives that you can learn from and incorporate into your own life as well. Obviously, if you want to explore a historic global city, which London absolutely is, but it's also one that is probably the best place that you could possibly be in terms of exploring, obviously, the wider UK, but also the European continent as well. There's so many connections by train or by air or by ferry to countries all over the continent, so you can cram loads of travel in while you're here. If you want to get involved with things like volunteering and community projects, we have loads of opportunities for that on campus. The Students' Union offer all sorts of opportunities in that kind of framework as well. And the campus is also really well placed for exploring green spaces around the city, for exploring London's artistic and cultural scene, for all its museums, and also the technological and business centre that London is as well. As I said, that's not by any means a complete list of all the reasons to join Roehampton, to join us at Roehampton, but it's maybe a good place to start thinking. So if that has convinced you, you might be thinking about how you can start applying to join us at Roehampton. Our application is entirely online. We try and keep it as lean as possible, so there's not lots of unnecessary paperwork for you to do. In terms of what you would need to submit to us, we would need a recent transcript displaying a GPA of at least 2.8 in the US system. That obviously you may use a different metric if you're not from the US. If you do have a GPA that's slightly lower than 2.8, we can still consider your application. So please do contact us and we can let you know the process for which you can submit supporting evidence so that we can still consider your application if you do have a slightly lower GPA. And then the only other thing we would need to see from you is a personal statement of between 300 and 500 words explaining why you would like to join us at Roehampton. So that's all you would need to do. Our deadlines for the fall and spring semester are on your screen now. Our spring applications have closed for spring 2023, though we can consider late applications, so please do contact us as soon as possible if you are considering going forward in spring. But otherwise, our applications for fall will be open shortly, and we'll be contacting all of our partner institutions to let you all know when those applications are open, so you can start submitting your applications. You can provide up-to-date costs. You can find up-to-date costs and dates on our website, which is on your screen now, and should also be on this slide here, along with our email address, as well as our Instagram page, where you can keep track of some of our activities and see what some students have been getting up to while they've been at Roehampton. But I'll leave that will conclude the first bit of this session. And so I'll open it up now for anyone who would like to pose any questions. As I said at the beginning, you should find a Q&A box at the top of your screen now. So please do post any questions you might have in there, and I'll be very happy to answer them for you. But otherwise, thanks so much for listening. And yeah, we hope to see you at Roehampton soon.